Welcome back to Growing Your Soul. I want to talk to you a little bit about continuing to work on enjoying the Sabbath. Now, the Sabbath is supposed to be a day to abstain totally from whatever your work is at the time. Whatever your work is at home, whatever your work is at work, whatever your work is. If it's work, it's not for the Sabbath. The Sabbath is a sign of liberation. Our culture attaches such a primary importance to work and productivity. And so consequently, our ceasing from all of that for a day reminds us that the value of work lies not in itself, lies not in the sense of worth that it gives us, but the value of work lies in the worship of God that takes place in it. And keeping the Sabbath helps us remember that. Jesus never called anybody to work. Instead, Jesus calls each one of us to the vocation of following him and of glorifying God in every dimension of our lives. So, some things that you can do on the Sabbath are, first of all, you can decide when it begins. Modern societies begin the day at midnight. They functionally begin the day when they get up, and they begin the next day when they get up. That's not the way ancient societies did it. The ancient Jews began the Sabbath at sundown. The day began when the sun went down. And this is more in keeping with an ancient notion of when the day begins. It lasts from sundown to sundown. Also, the Jewish custom, which you might really enjoy doing, is to make all preparations for the Sabbath before the sundown. And then at sundown, you light the Kiddush candles and you welcome the Sabbath and you have the Sabbath meal. You just have a prayer thanking God for the week that is past and for the joy of creating this day of rest. And then you bless the bread and the wine, and you bless everybody who's present for the meal, even if it's only you, and you eat dinner. And when the dinner is done, you end with a special Sabbath prayer that officially closes with Deuteronomy 8:10, and here it is. When thou hast eaten and art full, then shalt thou bless the Lord thy God for the good land that he hath given thee. And so, with a prayer that ends with that, you end the meal and you continue on with the Sabbath. Now, if you want, whatever you do, keep it simple. Really, keep it simple. Keep it short. And find a way for as many people as you love as possible to take part in it and have fun with it. Have fun with it. This is the Sabbath. If you want more suggestions, you can check out a copy of Marva Dawn's book, Keeping the Sabbath Holy, and you can look on pages 12 and 13, where she not only describes some rituals, she then lists about 6 other books that you can check into if you want. The point is that the Sabbath is not only a day to not work. The Sabbath is a refreshing day to play in the presence of the Lord. Now, some people play as families. Other people, like Marva Dawn, are single people. So she plays with her friends. But everybody plays on the Sabbath, and everybody worships. because the Sabbath is for focusing on relationships. That's what the Sabbath is for, particularly your relationship with God, especially that. So, you remember that one of the causes of modern stress is that we just have so much to do. We're never done. We're never done. Well, welcome to the Sabbath, which has been set aside by God as a day that you don't have to do anything. Try not to worry on the Sabbath because God is in charge. You'll find yourself worrying less during the week. Don't let preparation for the Sabbath become a burden in itself. The house doesn't have to be spotless by Saturday night. You don't have to have food shopped for the week. All of your business projects don't have to be done. Just commit everything to the Lord's hands where it is anyway. And let me tell you a story that has helped me more than really any other as I've been trying to figure out the Sabbath. And this is from Carlo Corretto's book, Letters from the Desert. It's a really good book. It's really good. I would encourage you to read this for the growth of your soul. Letters from the Desert. Anyway, Carlo Corretto once held a key post in what's called Catholic Action at a time when this church organization played a frequently sinister role in anti-communist politics under Pope Pius XII. So he was an important kind of national figure. He was very important in the politics of the Catholic Church. And he writes, "For many years, I had thought I was somebody in the church. I even imagined this sacred living structure of the church as a temple, sustained by many columns, large and small, each one with the shoulder of a Christian under it. My own shoulder, too, I thought of as supporting a column, however small. Through repeating that God needed men and the church needed activists, we believed it. The structure was a burden on our shoulders because after creating the world, God went away to rest. And with the church founded, Christ had disappeared into heaven. All the work remained for us, the church. We, above all those in Catholic Action, were the real workers. We bore the weight of the day. With this mentality, I was no longer capable of taking a holiday. Even during the night, I was in action. There was never enough time to get anything done. One raced continually from one project to another, from one meeting to another, from one city to another. Prayer was hurried, conversations frenzied, and one's heart in a turmoil. As everything depended on us, and everything was going so badly, we were quite right to be so worried." And then Carlo Corretto, this incredible activist priest, gets a call from God to go to the desert, which he does. And there in the desert, he can feel the weight of this column on his shoulders. And let me read this part. "In any case, now I was here in the desert, kneeling on the sand of the cave, which had taken on the dimensions of the church itself. On my shoulders, I could feel the small column of the activist. Perhaps this was the moment of truth. I drew back suddenly, as though to free myself from this weight. What happened? Everything remained in its place, motionless. Not a movement, not a sound. After 25 years, I had realized that nothing was burdening my shoulders and that the column was my own creation. Sham, unreal, the product of my imagination and my vanity. I had walked, run, spoken, organized, worked, in the belief that I was supporting something. In reality, I had been holding up absolutely nothing, because the weight of the church and the weight of the world remained where it had always been, on the shoulders of Christ and Him crucified. As you keep the Sabbath, may this understanding become part of the fiber of your being, because the weight of the church and the weight of the world remains where it has always been, on the shoulders of Christ and Him crucified. Keeping the Sabbath will help you remember that during the week. Thanks for coming back, and I hope to see you soon at Growing Your Soul.